Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Frame Live. My name is Dottie Sammartine, and today we have a very special guest with us. So, what do you do when life throws you a curveball? Well, John Losito decides to run the bases. Let's have a chat with John now and find out what he did when life threw him a curveball in the middle of a pandemic. John, welcome to Beyond the Frame.
Thanks, Dottie. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
You are quite welcome. Well, you've got a lot going on right now at Sun Valley Lanes. You started a renovation, a major renovation, back. Tell us a little bit about how that started. You actually started by moving your entrance.
Correct. Yeah, the entrance, I had to move my entrance, which I did now it's a couple of years ago, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get into the building when we did the major renovation. So we moved our entrance first, did that whole thing, and then went through, I guess now it's 2 summers ago. And then right in September or October, we started this major expansion and renovation of my facility. So it's been an interesting year and a half, to say the least. It just seems like yesterday.
Yes. Well, and we're talking about you. Of course, you've got 32 lanes of bowling. You are a hyper bowling center. You've added laser tag. You have added lucky putt.
Lucky putt, a new way to play mini golf from our friends at Creative Works.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. You have now an outdoor patio. You have an expanded lounge. An additional bar. I mean, you didn't just go small, you went big.
Correct. Yeah.
And so fast forward that just a little bit. So you moved your entrance. You started the major renovation in the September of 2019 timeframe.
Yep.
And then the pandemic comes.
Then the pandemic occurs. Yeah, and that's it's been an interesting road, because the whole thing, I mean, it's just been, I guess curveball after curveball. I was really 3/4 of the way through the planning, and I wasn't planning on purchasing the building next door and the land next door when the owner to me came and said, "Hey, we want, you want to buy my building and land?" And we thought, "Oh, what could we do over there too?" And I have to go through the bank, and that was in July. So all of a sudden, I was redoing numbers and stuff for the bank and got approval in August, and they, pulled the trigger in September to do this big major expansion. And then we get 2 or 3 months in, and all of a sudden the signs of the pandemic start to, occur. And honestly, Dottie, I mean, I knew when it came up, and we were getting ready to host the U.S. Open. So there were several things going on my plate. I thought, ooh, what do we do here? Do we continue on, or do we stop? And what I thought of, and I'll share this with you, Warren Buffett lives in Omaha. So, sometimes I think of some Warren Buffett quotes, and he had said something to the effect of, when times get tough in the economy, people sell, and pull back their advertising and do some other things, when in reality, it's an opportunity. You should look at it the other way. So I thought, okay, well, let's do this. I mean, we're going to come out the other side at some point in time, then we'll be ready to go. So let's just go full steam ahead. So we did.
Well, and John, it would be natural for people that would be in the process like you were, to want to downshift, or to even want to stop, or to slow down and say, you know what, I need to wait. I need to see how things are going to play out before I go forward. But it's very obvious that you have no doubt in your mind where bowling is going to wind up. You have no doubt in your mind that we are going to get through this, because exactly as you said, you didn't slow down. You continued going, and you're going full steam ahead. You're going to make this a reality. And so for that, I have to commend you. As you said, we are going to come out of this.
Dottie, I'll be perfectly honest in saying, I was nervous. Absolutely. I did. I mean, I thought about this long and hard, and I thought, gosh, do I do it or not? And I came to the realization, they survived the Spanish flu in 1919, right? I mean, back in the early 1900s, they survived the Spanish flu without nearly the technology and the ability that we have today. And I thought, what happened after that? The Roaring 20s were called the Roaring 20s for a reason.
Yep.
Right? So I thought, if they could do it then, there's no reason why we can't do it now. And I can picture people are still pretty much the same, they want to get out and enjoy life. And we've all been struggling, to do a lot of the day-to-day things that I guess I've even taken for granted,
Yep.
until this has occurred. And I think we will see a resurgence of that. And I thought, you know what, we just need to be ready when that time comes, and let's do it.
Watch out,
But
because when the floodgates open, absolutely. Well, John, one of the things that I had mentioned to you on our call earlier was that you have done a very good job about bringing the customer along in this journey that you're on. And, of course, the pandemic has really made the need for communicating with your customers come to light. But you have done a really great job of being very transparent and even bringing that customer into your journey, into your story, with showing them what you're doing and asking their opinions on things. I thought was just a fantastic way of getting your customers up to date with what's going on. And I would venture to say that you have had the same results of a lot of other centers, that the local support that you have seen has been, it's definitely been something that was overwhelming. Have you felt that as well, that the local community has supported you?
Oh, absolutely, Dottie. I mean, I've told people that I'm blessed to have the facility that I do and the location I do. The customers have been great. And I'm sure a lot of proprietors all across the country feel pretty much the same way. But at the end of the day, it's about the people. And the customers here have been nothing but overwhelmingly positive and supportive of me. I shared with you earlier, about a third of all our league prize fund money was donated back to me and the staff when the pandemic first occurred back in April, which, of course, is very heartwarming and, brought tears to my eyes and the whole nine yards. At the same time, those are the same people that were ordering pizza over the summer, because the only thing we could do was sell pizza. And those are the people we were selling pizza to. And sure enough, when the doors opened, who were the first people in but the league customer? And I shared this with you also about the fact, every year for the last decade or so, I've had to go up a quarter for league lineage, just, because costs go up, right? I mean, it's 2 to 3% any given year. It just is what it is. And when I went to the league meetings, I thought, man, I need to get 50 cents and just to help a little bit because of, what was going on. And I can think of 2 specific leagues, and they were all basically the same way. But before I could even finish the sentence, the ones later in the week, before I could even finish the sentence, somebody raised their hand and said, I motion that we raise the price 50 cents for lineage and help John out. I mean, literally saying help John out, which, is just great. I mean, how can you can't put a price on that. That's priceless.
That's absolutely right.
And they've been great. I mean, they've stood with me this whole time, and I'm lucky to have them. So.
Absolutely. Well, John, bowling has always been a very social sport. And this just goes to show that despite, the protocols and the social distancing that's in place, or the physical distancing that's in place, bowling is still a social sport.
Absolutely.
And you're still going to feel that connection. We're very much like a family when it comes to bowlers. And so I think that that's something that's definitely for you, by you being in constant communication and bringing that customer into your journey, has just reinforced their loyalty to you. And, they're showing you how much they appreciate what you're doing.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, Dottie. I mean, like I said, it's been a great journey. I mean, ever since day one, bowling is a people sport. I mean, it's really all about the people. We provide the experience. It's almost like a country club. Jeannie Beal had said that to me earlier today. It's like we're their country club for their weekly thing to do, and it becomes a family. You know what their spouses are doing, what their kids do. How they're feeling, if they're having surgery. It's all sorts of stuff.
That's right.
That you learn from these people, and it's it's a neat thing. So yeah, I mean, and you're talking about bringing them along for the journey. I've always been a guy that tries to do something every year when it comes to reinvesting in the facility and showing kind of what's been going on and changes and those type of things. And when the pandemic occurred, if I'll go down this road real quick, the story. I believe in doing it while we're open, right? So we make changes so customers can see it. I mean, it's not just John's putting the money in his pocket. He's reinvesting in the facility and trying to make their experience even better. And when the pandemic occurred, of course, we had to close down. We thought, ooh, this is going to be a pretty night and day dramatic change for the customer when they come back, because we had planned on being open the whole time. We were going to try to pull this off. And the one good thing about the pandemic for me, Dottie, we were closed for 76 days. And if I had to do a bunch of the remodeling in this facility and had remained open, somebody would have to bail me out of jail because I might have killed somebody.
Yeah.
The place was a disaster, just a disaster. But we got it done, and we managed to work through some of that. But at the same time, we wanted to communicate the message to the customer. To do that, we did that by doing a lot of social media stuff. And we have our mascot named Wobbles. And Wobbles was my nemesis over the remodeling. And there's some videos out there of Wobbles on our Facebook page.
Yes, there are.
He was trying to be helpful, but he became my nemesis. And there was always an F-bomb coming out of my mouth that we'd have to edit out. But it took people on the journey, and we get people all the time. As a matter of fact, I would be out in public in town, and somebody said, "When are you going to do another Wobbles video?" And I'm like, God, well, I would swear, like if I catch him, there's going to be trouble. So what we found is that by using social media, while we were closed, it worked out good in communicating to the customer what was going on. And we made it a little bit fun, right? We all needed some fun in our lives that summer. So we try to do some of that and make it a little bit tongue in cheek. So it seemed to work, which was good. So I have a feeling Wobbles will be back here.
I was just going to say, I think that should be one of the things that you continue doing even when the pandemic is completely over.
It's been pretty fun.
Well, the other thing I was curious about, you are, a lot of your customer base is college students. I mean, you're very fortunate to have a major university right in your backyard practically. How has that impacted you since they're learning, their education has changed drastically?
Yeah, it's a great question. Obviously, they went to an online learning system part of the way through the fall semester. So my late night stuff has always been pretty successful, Sunday to Thursday night open play, because, we're a great date night location and we do some events specifically geared towards college kids that had always been very successful. Pandemic occurs, of course, that changes dramatically. And then Thanksgiving came and they basically sent all the students home and said, we're going to do finals online, and it is what it is. So we haven't seen the college student since November. And I've seen it late night. Obviously, my late night stuff has been affected up until the holidays. Now, or since the holidays have come over this, Christmas season, we've been seeing some of that return. The college kids officially don't come back till this weekend. They're giving them the option, but they're reopening campus and they're bringing them back. So they're going to have the option to do online or come to class or come back on campus or come up campus and do some stuff online. But at the same time, some of those kids never left because some of them are international students, couldn't get out of the country. So the university had to go through and, keep the dorms open over the holidays, which they've never done, and do some stuff differently for them too. So yeah, I think we've seen some of them, but it's been a hit, sure, a little bit. But we know when they get back here, they're going to see some pretty major changes. And we hear it all the time, people walking in and like, whoa, what happened in here?
Exactly.
Changed a bunch. So that's all promising and reassuring and, it makes me feel good. But yeah, it's like anything else. I mean, we just got to deal with it until it gets done, but we're slowly starting to see the trickle return.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and even though you have shared a lot of what you're doing on social media, the impact of walking through, and I shared this with you earlier, I can't wait until I'm able to see it in person because, it's impressive. I look at your bar behind you, and I know this is a rendering of it. But nonetheless, you try to visualize it, but I can't imagine when the students do get to come back and start to experience it, how impressed that they're going to be with all that's been going on. So
yeah, I think you're right. And we hear that, like I said, I hear comments, just some people don't know they're standing, who they're standing next to. And I hear them say some pretty cool things about what's been going on. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll look forward to your jaw dropping. So
I can't wait. The other thing that I'm curious about is, have you changed any of your programming as a result of the pandemic?
yes. So in thinking about it, so it's hard to disbelieve by looking at me. I'm a member of the gym next door, and I kind of thought about, what would it be like if I go in there, right? I mean, I think, am I going to be a little bit nervous? How does this all play out? And I thought maybe a quick in, quick out. I reduce my exposure. That might be a little bit better for me. And I thought, oh, let's look at our bowling program. So I was doing 2 and 2.5 hour unlimited events. I brought them down to 90 minutes in most
Okay.
cases. So the thought is, we'll get people in, get people out. At the same time, I have a capacity situation. So here currently in Lincoln, Nebraska, as of a couple of days ago, we got to go up to 50% capacity. We're technically at 25 for the last 5 or 6 weeks. It was able to give us the opportunity to turn more people over. At the same time, with an FEC, you kind of move a little bit from activity to activity to activity. So that was a little bit on my radar also. So
Mm-hmm.
the pandemic gave me the opportunity a little bit to make some of these changes that, would have been a bit of a surprise before. That actually kind of worked out well. So we have seen, matter of fact, my manager, Brian, said we turned one lane over 9 times Saturday. We're open from
Okay.
11 to 11. So 9 times over in, 12-hour period is pretty good.
It
Um,
sure is.
so, but, when you have limited supply, you got to do, what's right. I mean,
That's
business is
right.
business. So, you do it and price it accordingly. So immediately we eliminated specials. We brought back regular pricing on everything. And then we've slowly implemented during what we know are slow times now,
Mhm.
some other specials, but now at a shorter time frame to try to get people in and out.
Right. Well, yeah, and I think that that's one of those things that people are more forgiving right now because they understand that there have to be, people have to make changes. And so what might have been questioned, you know a year ago,
Or
now it's no big deal. We do have a question that came in, John, that I want to ask of you. This came in from Joey, and he's curious if you're seeing that customers are still following the protocols that you have in place to allow you to continue to operate at reduced capacity. Are they supportive and doing what they're supposed to be doing?
99.62% are supportive. We've had one lead customer that was pretty irate about us telling him he had to wear a mask, which was his, he had a very strong position that he didn't.
Okay.
He is no longer here. Um, but I mean, you have to protect the
Yeah,
business,
you
right? I
have
mean,
to. That's
is
right.
it is what it is. Um, but yeah, I mean, we do get people. I mean, we spend it's the common thing. People are normally very good about doing it, but we'll literally see people like coming up to the snack bar, like, oh, I forgot my mask, and then they run back down to their lane to get their mask because they can bowl without the mask, but they have to be, whenever they're on concourse, they have to be in the mask. So people are pretty good about it. I mean, everybody. I mean, how can you not understand what's going on in the world, right? I mean, so it's been fine, which is nice. I mean, it's been, like I said, we've had the one situation where, yep, gone. That's fine. So be it. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Well, as you mentioned early on, the one of the things that we identified is that your league bowlers were the first ones to come back. They were ready to go, and we have seen a number of brand new bowlers that are coming in that we've done a really good job. Centers have done a really good job at uh, making sure that they're putting out the message of the facility is adhering to all the government standards, and they're cleaning, and they're really good to get that message out there. And I think that's been one of those things that I hope that coming out of the pandemic, we don't stop with that message, because I think that that has brought in a new group of customers that maybe had still had that image of bowling the way it was 20 years ago. And I think now we're starting to see that image change.
It's funny you say that, Dottie, because looking at it, when we decided, what do we have to do to meet the standards of stuff, I always tried to pride myself on having a very clean facility. And at the end of the day, what we found ourselves thinking was, gosh, if we just replace our table cleaner with a germicidal table cleaner, basically stuff from Ecolab that, will kill the virus, we're almost pretty much status quo here, with the
Sure.
exception of the house balls. House balls are totally, none of us ever thought about cleaning house balls before, other than the once a year we would go through and, try to clean off the outsides and do some stuff. But so now we're cleaning out the inside of the holes and, doing some of that. That's really the only real significant change that we've had to our cleaning and our sanitizing procedures, I guess. Other than, we have hand sanitizer in the facility. I mean, there's some other common sense ones that, are new also. But when it comes to the actual, we're always cleaning the shoes. We're always wiping off tables. We're always cleaning the tops of garbage cans and, the fixtures in the bathroom and other stuff anyway. So just put some, germicidal cleaner. Well, I think the lead customers do that. The lead customers have been coming here forever and had seen that, and they were the first ones walking in the door because they were comfortable. They just knew that, okay, stuff's going to be pretty clean if I take care of myself. Again, today's world, there still is a level of you need to take care of yourself. Not everybody in the government can't do it for you.
That's right.
That they understood, okay, I feel comfortable going out to Sun Valley. Let's go. We'll have a good time. We'll be safe, and we'll call it a night.
And John, that goes back to that feeling of, we're one big family. I think that's much easier for them to see how, how you do things.
Because they know you, they trust you,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I would not let them down. I mean, it's, it's an important thing. So, yeah. And I'm sure there's probably proprietors all over the country that had the same effect. I feel bad for the ones that aren't open yet. I mean, that's just horrible. It breaks my heart, how brutal that's got to be. But, believe me, if you can get the doors back open, your diehard lead customer, they'll know what you're in for.
For sure. And have you started seeing birthday parties start to trickle back in?
We have actually suspended them all.
Okay.
Because of the current DHM. Our party packages are currently suspended. Now, we have hosted, some people have called and said, hey, we want to do this. And we tell them, well, you got more than 8. We got to put a deadline in between you because that's what the DHM requires. And everybody says, okay, they get it. And they do them. So people, kids are still having birthdays. That's still going on, which I understand. But until, this settles down a little bit, and I just thought, we don't want to do an attendant yet. We want to, there's still too many hoops to jump through there. And honestly, the demand, for open play, because I'm at limited capacity, has been high. So it's not like I'm, losing this as a revenue opportunity. I'm losing it as an exposure for the experience opportunity. Absolutely. Which stinks, but hopefully.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Very good.
Now next year, they will be really excited to book early because they want to make sure that they can have it. So,
Yep.
Well, John, I really appreciate you taking the time out today to be with us.
My pleasure, Dottie.
As I said, when I first approached you, it would have been really easy for you to say, you know what, let's hold up. And the fact that you didn't tells me, I know how supportive you are of this industry. You definitely got the reputation of believing in bowling. And this is just one more example of you believing in this industry. So for that, I say thank you.
Thank you.
I know that we will come back, and we will come back, as you and I were chatting, we're going to come back better than ever before.
I believe
because
so.
The messages that have gone out and the exposure that bowling has gotten, and the fact that people have been not able to come out and have the experience like they used to, it's just going to come back stronger than ever before. So we're really excited about that, and we want to just continue down the road that we're going on, because I know that in time we're going to get right back to where we want to be. I do want to mention to the viewers before we end our show today that next Tuesday we're going to have another very special show. We're going to have from Rockford, Don Carter Lanes in Rockville, Illinois, we're going to have Brad Summers and Tony Hall come in and talk to us a little bit about how they actually had a conversation in the parking lot of a car show that resulted in them getting hundreds of brand new bowlers. So you won't want to miss that. And on top of that, they're going to provide you with what you need for you to be able to do the very same thing. So you won't want to miss that show. We're really excited about that. So, John, before we leave, do you have any little secrets about what's next at Sun Valley Lanes that you can cue us into, or do we have to watch for wobbles?
I'd have to kill you if I told you. So I just
Okay, well, in that case,
wobbles. I have a feeling he's going to show up, that bastard. I just want to just smack him at times. He's my nemesis.
I have to tell you, John, now I have given you a spot on Beyond the Frame Live, but you know what? I think it's only fair to say that I really think I'm going to have to ask Wobbles to come to this show as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sorry, but I think that that's in my very near future. So you might want to put that bug in Wobble's ear, right, or wherever he happens to get his message.
I'll pass it along.
Please do.
Yep. All righty.
Well, thank you very much, John. Viewers, thank you so much for coming along. If we've missed any of your questions along the way, I'm sure that John will stay and look at our feed for just a few minutes. And we hope to see all of you guys next week on Beyond the Frame Live. Until then, keep striking.